Buckle up. You are listening to Musicians and Beyond with Mark Lawhorn and John Sarabian, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, the lyrics, and the long journeys of the music industry. Mark, first of all, I want to thank Liberty Drums for sending us these awesome T-shirts. I even got one for you.
No, I think
Triple X.
I got it.
Someone did. Anyways, we are on episode number 86. We have an awesome guest today, but let's talk a little bit about last week's guest. We had the band from Pensacola, Florida, Gunshine, and these guys were awesome. They were like right up my alley, all the 80s music, a little bit of Bon Jovi, a little bit of Aerosmith, a little bit of AC/DC, all thrown into one, but they're their own genre, and they were awesome. So I think you should check out Gunshine.
Yeah, Austin was the lead singer. He was in, and lead guitarist, I should say. He was in here with you. You had a great conversation. Sorry I had to miss it, but I'm here today.
You are here today.
Great conversation.
And you know, there's a little trivia. If you listen to the episode, there is a family connection between Elvis Presley and a member of the band of Gunshine. So listening to find out those deets.
I will.
All right, excellent. And today, episode 86, we have a very special guest. He's a musician, and he does a lot for the community, too. We have Alex Boch in today. Alex, welcome to Musicians and Beyond.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, this is fantastic. Thanks for driving up in this traffic.
Oh, the traffic was unbelievable.
Yeah, but we're worth it, right?
We'll see by the end of it.
See.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too early to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. So you are a musician. You're a drummer and a singer for a band called Generation 3.
Yeah, well, drummer. I sang one song one time, and everybody holds it against me. It was a one-time deal, but yes.
Dude, you sang in a song, so you are a singer.
If that's the definition, we'll go with that.
Tell us a little bit about Generation 3 band.
Yeah, so it was a band, believe it or not. I was finishing up high school, and I needed a school project, a senior project. And I thought, well, let me do the most work, but yet the minimum amount of work I could possibly do. So I thought, let's put on a concert, as any normal graduating senior would say. And it was the height of COVID, 2020, you couldn't do anything. So we said, the only way this is going to happen is a drive-in. And we went through all these other ways, social distancing, and it kind of sucked. So we said, let's just do the drive-in. So I scrounged together a band of all the guys I knew, pros in Boston. It's great because I'm the crappiest one in the band. So everybody else is great. They can learn the songs. They're just waiting on me. So it's awesome. And we had the first show. We had Mr. Gary Sharon and Pat Badger come and do a couple songs with us. It was an instant hit, and we're going to be on our 4th year of doing it this year.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Those are some names. You did go get the A-list, right?
We grabbed a couple guys from around town.
Yeah, he's got a A-list that we'll talk about in a little while. But right now your band has a new video out. Is it done?
It's just for me. I have a new video coming out in a week of a cover of Glitch by Parkway Drive. So that should be coming out very soon. And we got a few down the pipeline that'll be even better.
Awesome. How do people find that actual video so they can watch it?
Yeah, everything's on my socials, Alex_Boch13. You'll find everything, all my crap that you want to see, you'll find it there.
And there's a lot of crap.
A lot of it.
Good crap.
Good crap.
Good crap. Awesome. So we talked about sharing the stage with a lot of greats. I mean, you're 20 years old. You haven't even had your first beer yet.
No.
You're gonna, how many days?
116. Nobody's counting.
All right. We're ready for the party anyways. But you have played with greats like Alice Cooper, Steel Panther, Cheap Trick.
Yep.
You've met Ringo Starr, Sammy Hagar, Slipknot, Extreme. I mean, those are some names.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
You know, I'm fortunate enough to be in the position where my father's very involved in the music industry, and from a very young age, I was at these shows and around a lot of these people. So people that I look up to, respect, even play their music, I can call them friends, and some of them even family at this point.
Yeah,
That's pretty damn cool. I don't have that kind of connection.
Yeah, me neither. But I mean, I've seen pictures of Alice Cooper in your house.
That was the greatest show. That was the funnest night. It was, I kind of weaseled my way into that show. You know, he was doing the party. It was an all acoustic set. His first and probably last acoustic set ever. You know, they played 6, 7 songs, and we had 5 minutes of rehearsal, and they threw me up on stage.
His last acoustic set was at your house.
It wasn't at the house.
Okay.
Wish it was. Another location, but still, for
That's
Subaru
pretty
New
cool.
England, it was a great time.
That's
Yeah,
really
and
cool.
you were part of it. And Alice Cooper's an interesting guy. You would think he'd be a little bit out there and crazy and whatever. Very, very smart
Very
and
Mellow.
intellectual.
Yeah, when you really sit down and talk to him, he is the nicest guy. You know, when I tried to weasel my way into the show, I had to buy a cajon. And he said, well, do you play it? I said, yeah, I play it all the time. I haven't played it a day in my fucking life, but I went to Guitar Center that morning, bought a cajon, and we're sitting down in the basement, him and his 2 guitar players and his wife, and we were playing the Wheels song, sure, whatever that song is.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, I could feel like a stop coming in the song. I don't know the song for shit, but I feel like there was a stop coming. And I just stopped right in the right beat. And Alice looked at me and goes, the kids got it, we're fine. And everybody walked up and left. And that was the only rehearsal we had. And I had to do 6 songs that night.
Wow. Bananas. That is
Crazy.
bananas.
You know, you get to feel what you said about Alice Cooper. You know, he's very mellow. When you listen to his radio show, you really get that feel. You get to you really feel like
Know
you
him
know him,
personally,
right?
yes.
Yeah. And his real personality comes out there. It's pretty cool.
So, out of all these people you met, I don't want to say who was the
Oh,
biggest
Jesus.
dick. No, because that's
Oh,
not fair.
boy.
But who was the coolest? Like, who was the most fun to be around?
Coolest one to be around. Sammy Hagar was
Yeah.
that was a trip. I mean, just to be in his presence like we were. Backstage, hanging out, him, Michael Anthony, Jason Bonham. I mean, it was just me, my father, and them. And we literally walked on the stage with them, got him right there. That was an experience.
Yeah, that's one of those things you wake up the next morning and go, did that really happen?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Not
good
bad
stuff.
at all.
It's good stuff. That's some good company. So this whole music thing for you, you said your dad is really into music, and we know that. And we know who your dad is and what he does for the community. He does a lot, as do you. He came home one day when you were a little kid, and he had an AC/DC poster.
Yeah.
And supposedly that was your turning point?
It was on the front, it was AC/DC, and on the back, it was Megadeth Greatest Hits. And he came home with it, and my mother was like, yeah, right, not listening to any of that, forget about it. I was like 6 at the time. And he went out to Newbury Comics, the store is still there, went out, bought so many CDs from Kiss, Alice in Chains, anybody, you name it, he grabbed it. And he said, which one do you like? And I really stuck with Megadeth.
Wow.
So that was kind of the turning point of me getting into the music.
So your music that you play in now, your Generation 3 band, is a heavier rock.
Yes. We like to do a variety. I like the really heavy stuff, but you gotta entertain the masses. So we definitely throw in some hits.
Well, you mentioned earlier there was one influence local that sort of got you into it. Who was that?
Godsmack. That changed my perspective on everything. You know, I grew up on the Megadeth stuff, and I didn't really play. But as soon as I started getting into Godsmack, watching Shannon Larkin play the drums, you can watch him, and it's a show on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, he is something else, and those guys are great. I've known Sully since I was 7 years old, and they're just a great group of guys.
Yeah, they sure are. Sure are.
Is there anyone that your father could introduce you to or that has brought along you haven't played with, but a dream on stage with someone? Who would it be?
Dream on stage with somebody. Oh, spot here. I mean, I could tell you what his dreams would be, and then mine's gonna differ.
Yeah.
You know, jumping out with Sammy and Jason. Obviously, that would be insane.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you his dreams, he'll tell you like Paul McCartney or something crazy.
Can't
But,
blame him. Yeah.
if I had to pick somebody, you know, I'd go Lamb of God, Slipknot, any of the crazy bands that you see a sea of people moshing and all that. I love that. So if I could go on stage and do that, I would love it.
That's pretty cool. I can't blame you there.
That's awesome.
Speaking truth here, come on.
We talked about your family doing a lot for the community. You guys have set up an organization that helps every school in New England with their music program, because unfortunately, with budget cuts and so forth, music and art is one of the first things to be
Always the
cut.
first to go. Always.
So tell us about that, and let's tell people how they can contribute and all that. What's going on?
Absolutely. So, I mean, like you said, unfortunately, when there is budget cuts, music's always the first one to go. It's just how it is. But, kids really need it to grow. So we have a 501c3 in the 6 states of New England. Music drives us, whether you need instruments, funding. We even rebuilt a whole building just so they could have the facilities. Anything you need to keep music in the schools, we will supply. And, to learn to look at these kids and see the change you're making. Even at my school, in my middle school, we had a terrible music program, and my father came in and changed it. So I even saw firsthand what it can do for children. So it's unbelievable.
What's the name of that organization?
Music Drives Us. And if you want to donate, give anything, it's musicdrivesus.org. You can find all the shows we're doing. And if you ever want to contribute, you can go there.
If a school is in need, how do they get in contact? And is there like a actual request form?
Yeah, there is. If you go on musicdrivesus.org, there is a request form. You can put in, anything you need. Again, just the music, the funding, the anything to keep music in the schools, we will help you out.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a great thing that you guys do, and it really has made a difference because, not everyone can afford an instrument or afford the music lessons or anything like that. So this is great that you're able to use your ability and, your connections and everything over the years to help all these other generations to come that will be bringing new and awesome music to the masses,
One of the things you mentioned is the importance of music and what it does, and aside from the escape and the ability to learn and grow there, we also know that music has those practicing music, learning music, have better math scores, better reading comprehension, all the things that go along educationally. This is a part of it, and it's very, very important for that.
It is. Is that true for you?
Absolutely. I mean, music single-handedly saved my life. I mean, I was obviously around it, but, I started on guitar. That became too difficult. Went to bass. That was too difficult. I don't know why I thought that would be easier, but that was too difficult. Then I moved to drums, and it really stuck with me. So whether you try music or try anything, and that might not work, try something else. That might not work. Try something else. Just keep with it. And it spent a lot of my childhood just doing that. And then once you find the thing you love, it's over from there.
So that would be great advice for an up-and-coming musician is to,
stick with it.
Stick with it. Because
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck at the beginning. Trust me. My father listening to those drums in the basement, I can only imagine what they sounded like. So if you stick with it, you'll eventually get something down and you go from there.
I'm assuming after your first time with the drum set in the basement, the next month there was a lot more insulation between the ceiling.
A lot more.
Yeah, Dad probably built a separate unit for you. Okay, Alex, go out there,
feet
please.
in the ground, down a couple staircases, lock me in there.
Awesome. And also, you guys have a lot to do with Boston Calling.
Absolutely. Great music festival in Boston. One of, the only music festival in Boston. But yeah, we are, Subaru is sponsoring it. Music Drives Us is sponsoring it. So if you want to get swag and, some free bracelets, if you're ever at Boston Calling, find the Music Drives Us booth, and any questions or anything you have, they can help you out.
Cool. And how many bands play at that? It's a full weekend festival.
Full Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, there is 20 plus bands a day for 3 days. I mean, I've gone the last 6 years, and it's a great time.
Yeah, and you were saying before we came on that this is one that you're really looking forward to.
Great lineup this year. They got a lot of good guys. I'm definitely excited.
Yeah. Great.
Tell us the location, Boston Calling.
Boston Calling. It's on the Harvard Athletic Fields. Google it. Couldn't tell you how to get there.
Right
Google
off
it.
Soldiers
You'll
Field Road.
Figure it out. But it's going ways. I'm not your GPS.
Left on Spitbook, right on Daniel Webster.
There you go.
Awesome. So tell us some more about what's going on in your life.
Yeah, I mean, as a drummer myself, I'm just, I have the Generation 3 band. I love those guys to death. We do covers, and, we're trying to get some stuff out there, but it's a little tough. The guys are a little older than me. I hate to say it, but I'm the young one in the band. So they're all they've done this. They've been through all the crap. They don't want to tour, and but we love playing music together. So I'm sticking with that. But I'm trying to venture out there, get myself out there, more content, and just push myself as a drummer. If anybody's looking for a drummer, metal, rock, you look at my Instagram, you better call me.
Tell us about the kit you play with. You set up on stage. Sometimes, can it be shrunk down? Can it be massive? What do you work
we
with?
started massive. We learned how difficult that was. So now I have a 6-piece DW that I actually bought off the guys in Steel Panther. They sold me that set. I love it to death.
That's
nice maple DW set. I love it.
Those Steel Panther guys are
the
awesome.
best.
They are the best.
As we're doing this interview right now, as we speak, the drummer is at my house because he was literally just in Boston and he had the day off. And
his name is Sticks.
Sticks Didinya. And they were just hanging out. And those guys, seriously, I've gotten to know them over the years, and I can just call them up. Not even to say hi, like life advice. If I need somebody to call, they're right there picking up the phone for me.
And what a show they put on. They are I guess you'd say they're trying to spoof the 80s music, but really not.
He said it perfectly today. If Andrew Dice Clay had a baby with Motley Crue, they would come out.
That's
and I said, that is perfect. Anybody that's seen them, that's perfect.
So in Steel Panther's an awesome band, and they're known all over the world.
All over the world.
And usually when they go to a city, any musician, big musician from that city will go to their show, and Steel Panther will call them up on stage. Yep. It's really a cool thing that they have going on.
And they're a little
raunchy?
I would say, not so kid friendly, I would put it. The first few years I knew them, I wasn't allowed to go to the shows. So I was like 10 or 11. But, once I started going to the shows, they were the first people I jumped on stage with. I was 13 years old. And I came out for like the last song. And they bring out like all the girls at the show that want to come on stage. They'll bring them on stage. Wow. So I'm walking out 13 years old. They did my makeup. I had the full get up going. And they walked up and I was super nervous. You're playing in front of 3,000 people, sold out at the House of Blues. And, the drummers goes, what are you nervous for? So it's a lot of people. He goes, Alex, look, you're 13. They have to cheer for you.
That's right.
You can go up there and do nothing. They have to cheer for you. You could mess up the whole thing. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a show that if you bring your girlfriend or wife or both, whatever, you gotta
you better watch out.
Be afraid, and
but it's a great show.
Yeah, no, and humanly, they're nice people. They're
the best people.
They're great
guys.
people. Yeah, so you met some incredible people along your journey.
For sure.
Alex, you're 20 years old. 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I graduate. I'm in my junior year of college right now, so I got one more year.
Yeah.
If everything goes to plan, I have one more year. But after that, I honestly don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, if I'm being honest with you. So, I'm taking it day by day. And I do work at the dealerships right now. I sell cars over at Ferrari, so that's a really cool experience. And, obviously it's going to be in the car industry. I'm going to school for, if anybody can believe it, automotive marketing management. Shocker, I know. So, once I get out of that, I would love to do music for a living. My father's listening to this. I forget that, but I would love to do music for a living. But, it's a grueling industry. Yeah. Heartbreak after heartbreak.
But you know what? You have to do what you love.
Exactly.
Your dad's paved a path for you. He's done both cars, automotive, and music.
Yep.
You've got it right there in front of you. A roadmap is there, and he's obviously very successful doing both. Yeah. Exactly. So
Dad's
follow
a
his
great
footsteps.
musician.
He graduated from Berkeley, 4 years. He's one of the few
That's one of the things that people don't know about your dad, I think.
Yeah.
Is that he's a Berkeley graduate. But, I was fortunate enough to get invited down to your house for some filming of a fishing episode with Charlie Moore. And
that crazy bastard.
Yeah,
I love him to death, but holy shit.
Yeah, he's a nut. But, your dad jumped right on stage with Pat Badger and Gary Sharon of Extreme and fit right in.
Yeah. It's like... He's got the long hair. He's got the look for it.
No shoes.
He didn't have shoes. I was just going to say, he went up barefooted.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
He's a somewhat of a free spirit.
So, who is actually in your band?
So I have a few just local natives that have been around the scene and been around the metal scene before. I have Matt LaPierre, who's a guitar player. He's unbelievable. You're asking me for last names now. I'm going to mess this up. They're going to kill me. So I get Josh, Sean, Bill, and they're just pros. Yeah. It's easy for them. It's like they never left. Couple of the guys were in a metal band called Hope Before the Fall. And Matt's doing a lot of solo stuff. Matt LaPierre, check him out on Spotify. It's insane. For a guy, I know I'm not super into guitars, but for a guy I know that has little stubby fingers, he is the best guitar player I know. And they're just it's easy. I can tell them, I'll give them a set list of 20 songs and tell them to know it by a week, and they'll be fine. I'm the only one that needs to be concerned.
Well, listen, you're on your way. What's your next project? What do you want to do as far as with the band? Where would you like to play?
I would love to get a group of guys together my age, and start touring with a new band. I'm fortunate enough that I have a lot of opportunities when I get out of college that I could go down a couple roads with music and know a few people. So if I could get a new band together and tour and really push and a lot of guys that are just hungry. Not that my guys aren't great, but they've been through it. They don't need it. This is just fun for them, which I love doing, but they don't have the hunger.
Yeah.
And I want to try to find some guys like that.
Right.
Now, as a drummer, guitarists can sit with someone and hone their skills. You sit behind the kit, you wheel away, you have a great time. How do you better yourself? How do you improve on becoming a better drummer?
I was self-taught for the first 8 years I started playing drums. So I kind of learned just from listening. Okay. I can't read music for shit, but if I can listen to the song, I can play it.
No kidding.
So, for me, it was just learning the basics. And you kind of plateau at a certain point, because I did lessons really early on, and I did them for like a week, because they sat me down there, like, tried to do the paradiddles and just stick sheet music in front of me, and I'm like, I just want to play. Yeah. So I just sat behind the kit and played. I mean, I sucked, but I just played. And you eventually get to where you're not super terrible.
Yeah.
So again, you're showing that, that's what you want to do. And there was a quote in a interview that you did with someone, and you said, I'd rather make 30 grand playing music, and that's probably on the high end because these guys work really hard to make a buck, in music, than make, 6 figures doing a corporate job.
Exactly. I mean, I'd rather be, making 30, 40 grand a year, happiest guy on the planet playing drums, than making $1 million a year in a corporate job where I hate my life every day.
Right. So die with $1 in your pocket and a smile on your face.
Exactly. I mean, you ask any guy that's making 30 G's a year that loves his job, I guarantee he's happier than the guy making 200 at some corporate whatever.
100%.
Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So where are you going to school now?
I'm at Northwood University. Okay. It's in the middle of nowhere in Michigan. Absolute butt fuck nowhere. If you Google the most boring town in the state of Michigan, that's literally exactly where I am. So it's an automotive school. They specialize in automotive, but it's a business school, so they have all the other subjects and everything. And it's only a school of 1,200, so it's tiny.
Wow. Yeah.
So you got to make your own fun and make your own not get in trouble. So it's a good experience. A lot of like-minded people. I've never been around so many car people in my life, and it's cool because this is the school. If your parents run an automotive anything, this is the school you're sent to. So there's a lot of kids that are Subaru dealers all over the country that I'm meeting, and Toyota, Honda, anything you think of, they're there.
Right. Now let me ask you, what car are you driving on campus? What'd you bring out there?
It's the same one I'm driving right now, my Subaru Forester.
No kidding. Yeah.
It goes 0 to 60 eventually.
In 45 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of miles on it?
Yeah, I mean, I drive back and forth to Michigan, so there's definitely a few
yeah.
miles on it.
Yeah.
So you said you got to find your own fun. I mean, I've been around you. You can find.
We find it.
Fun. We find you.
We find it.
Yeah. So that's cool.
But it's a good experience, and I'm glad anybody that's thinking about going to school that's maybe in a position where you might have to take over something, or your family's involved in a certain anything. It sucks. I hate school like a passion, but you gotta do it. You just gotta get it done.
So music is a passion of yours.
Absolutely.
But obviously you're going to school for it. So you think that the automotive industry is going to be your number one?
That'll be on the top of the list for sure. I mean, I'd kind of be an idiot not to at least dip my toes in the water. So I, definitely got to go that route. But I would rather try to do music and say I tried than be 60 years old and go, what if?
Right.
Well, one of the best lessons I think I've seen my brother-in-law who's successful in his business, and he said he wants his kids to go out and work somewhere else first. And if they find their way, gravitate back to the company, and they've learned, they get their own chops in it and come back. But it's go out, play music. You always have that to come back to. You've got your education in it. You've obviously got your foot in the door. Mm-hmm. You've been doing it for a while now at 20 years old. Your dad must want you to go out and experience life on your own terms.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, he's always said, don't get involved in music just because it's such a grueling, heartbreaking industry. Yeah. But, my sister is still going to Boston Conservatory. So she's in musicals. So she's in musical theater.
Cool.
You got one kid listening to Slipknot and one kid listening to Hamilton. So who would have thought? But it's definitely in our family. So he would rather see us be happy and do what we want to do than anything else.
Good for you.
That's great advice. It's great advice. So for our listeners and viewers, you are watching and listening to Musicians and Beyond with Lawhorn and Sarabian. And we are sitting here with Alex Boch, and he is telling us about all his musical influences and experiences. And
he's telling us how music drives us. So remember that, musicdrivesus.com.
.org.
.org.
That was a good segue, Mark.
Well, I was working on it.
I like it.
I was impressed. It's like you've done this before.
We've done it once or twice, Alex. So, Alex, tell us something else.
Well, right now, I think we're working on the next drive-in. So, we're trying to rebrand a little bit. And since we were stuck in COVID and doing the drive-in type, personally speaking, if I saw something drive-in, I wouldn't go to it right now. You're trying to get out of that and you're trying to step away from it. So we're definitely going to be doing some sort of event that will be announced soon, but we're just trying to rebrand and reimagine what this event could be.
What venue? Oh, go ahead.
And you are the main driving force behind the drive-in, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you put this all together, you do the lineup. How do you pick which band is going to be part of it? Because you have quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of whichever band wants to be a part of it. But us as the headliner, we always have two opening acts. And, one year we had a country act open up for us. And, we try to please the masses. So, anything that fits, we'll make it work.
I mean, the synergy, cars, music, drive-ins.
Exactly.
You're going down a path here that works.
And, I mean, for people that know that type of metal and that type of music, to drag, we had close to 500 people at the last show. So to drag 500 people to a parking lot in Mansfield, Massachusetts to listen to metal music is unheard of. So, I mean, what we've done, I can't be more proud of the guys that have done everything for us. So, let's just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, and that's a good thing about you is you do put it all together, but you give everyone the due credit because it takes more than just you.
I would love to take credit for the full thing, but there's no chance I can.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, putting things together. Let's talk about the ensemble. Get a little personal right now. What are you wearing today?
Oh, dude. Tuxie. If you're looking at this is a onesie. If you want to sponsor me, I will wear your stuff all the time. It's beyond comfortable. And if UGG wants to sponsor me too, we can wear these any day.
Tuxie, Tuxy. He's wearing a onesie from Tuxie.
A onesie.
I
Alex
saw
is
the ad
comfortable.
on Instagram.
Is there one of those flaps in the back so you don't have to?
No.
No.
If you're listening, flap in the back.
Flap in the back. Let's do it. While we're talking about, thanking people, I want to thank John Gagnon from the Boston Photography. He comes in, he does some great photos for us. Dane and Kayla behind the cameras at WinCam Studios in Winchester, Mass. I mean, they do a tremendous job. So I want to give them a shout out. What do you think of this place?
This is great.
It's not bad, right?
And we got one of the biggest audiences we've ever had.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
the crickets.
crickets. So, tell me some other things. You've met all these stars recently. Your dad had something to do with REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, we had a great event at the house with the two guys, the singer and the guitar player. I wasn't at the event, unfortunately. I had finals, so I had to act like I was studying and doing a good job over there. But the events that we had Cheap Trick a couple years ago, and they did an awesome show. And, my father brings in a national act every year for Music Drives Us. I mean, we've had Megadeth play acoustic. We had Peter Wolf. We had David Crosby. I mean, we've had some real heavy hitters come in.
I was a little jealous when I saw REO Speedwagon there the other day. I had told you this earlier. I wish that was the time my phone rang and said, "Hey, you want to come down?" But didn't ring.
UPS, it got lost in the mail. I don't know.
It must have. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to get someone from REO Speedwagon on our show.
I'm waiting right now. Every day we get closer to Memorial Day weekend. I go to the Indy 500 every year. It's a fantastic automotive show out there, right? A little bit of driving going on. Bring it back around. But also, they have on Carb Day, the Carb Day concert. It's one of the best concerts I've ever seen. They bring someone in every year. It's a mixed bag. You never know who. I think a couple years ago, Leonard Skinner, Foreigner, Journey. I'm waiting for the announcement who's going to be this year. Maybe one year. We'll be watching you up on stage at the Carb Day concert.
Goddamn right.
That would be cool. So do you go to things like that?
I'm a concert nut. I don't leave the house for anything but a concert.
Okay.
So, I'll go to 30,
You get a
40
chance?
a year.
Go out to the Indy 500, experience the show, right? Get to see that, number one. The concert's phenomenal. And then downtown Indianapolis is a place called the Slippery Noodle where the Blues Brothers used to play.
Oh, wow.
And it is a magnificent music venue. Small, 3 stages in the building, and the music is just as genuine and real as it gets, and it's varied. It's a great spot. You ought to go out and check it out sometime. Wow. I know your dad can probably get you a couple of nice tickets to that.
Maybe. He might know somebody.
So on top of music, school, in the cars, what else do you like to do? Is there any hobbies that you like to do?
I mean, it's just playing music, honestly. I mean, I just grew up with it. That's all I do. That and sit on my phone. So that's about it. I mean, just being around all these guys that I look up to and that I listen to on a daily friggin' basis, it's amazing to be able to call them friends and, call them up if I need anything. So it's an experience.
Give me an idea of your playlist driving from here to Michigan.
All right, so we'll probably start off. I'm leaving at like 5 a.m., so we'll start off with some quiet, probably whatever's on the radio at that point, just so I don't, probably still asleep at the wheel. But I'm big. Avenged Sevenfold's a big band for me. Megadeth, Lamb of God. We'll get heavy for a while, and then you kind of ease it back. You'll start off 90s rock, 90s, 2000s metal. Then you might go into some 70s classic rock in the middle, lower it down. And then honestly, I'll throw on some podcasts too, because my brain can't handle that much music. It's like a 13-hour drive.
I got a question. Who is your favorite podcast that you listen to?
Musicians and Beyond.
Of course it is.
Of course, you knew I was going to say that.
I knew it, man. I knew it. That's a good choice, right?
I'm partial to it. Yeah, I'm going to go along with it there.
Yeah, I mean, once this comes out, you get 86 episodes. 86. So if you say, it's not that much content, you got plenty of content. You can listen to all of it.
We're very thankful for each and every one of our listeners. We're in 44 countries. Wow. We've got thousands of listeners. We've had some incredible guests.
Best part is the guests. Absolutely. One,
damn right.
It's the guests, it's the conversations, and it's the music also. We get to explore some of the best music. It's a lot of fun.
We like listening to your music. We can't wait to see your video, which is out again when?
It should be in a week. Don't quote me on that, but should be in a week. 7 days at the most. And you can check everything out on Instagram.
John's got an idea. He's thinking.
No, go ahead, Mark.
You get the glasses on. Those are thinking
glasses. That is thinking glasses.
Where's your favorite vacation spot?
I'm on Martha's Vineyard all summer.
Yeah.
All day, every day, you can find me down there. So
Love it.
If you're between the ages of 21 and 25, it's heaven down there.
I'm over there a lot. Yeah. So I have a place in North Falmouth, so I scoot over to the islands quite a bit.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I probably passed you on the ferry before.
No doubt.
As a musician, what has been your career highlight?
I mean, jumping on stage with a ton of these guys that are just, friends, and they say you want to come up. I was in Detroit a few months ago seeing Glenn Hughes of Deep Purple.
Wow.
Right before he walked off stage, he goes, "Alex, do you know Burn?" I go, "I think so." He goes, "All right, I'm going to call you up. Don't mess it up." I said, "Okay."
No pressure.
No pressure. And when Cheap Trick stayed at the house and they played for us, and I was talking to Rick Nielsen, and he said, "Do you know any of the music?" I said, "Yeah, I know how to play Surrender." He goes, No. Do you know how to play it?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." He goes, "All right, you can play it tonight." And as I'm walking on stage, I had to scoot by him, and he puts his hands on my shoulders. He goes, "Don't fuck this up, kid." Great, here we go. All
No
right,
pressure.
let's start.
No
And
pressure.
how'd you do?
I think I did good.
Yeah.
I mean, the videos I can watch. I personally, I don't know about you guys, I hate watching myself because I'm so critical. Any show I play or anything, I hate looking at it. So, if I could make it through it, then I think I did a decent job.
Okay, so that's a great career highlight. Do you have a career low light?
Not yet. I mean, I don't think so. I hate to say that.
it's
but
all been blessed
it's
for you,
all
and
been
that's a
great.
beautiful thing.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting for the bus to hit me at some point. I mean,
That's great because a lot of our musicians, run across roadblocks. They get told no an awful lot. They're, going for their dream and the doors just keep shutting in front of them. And they just have to have a thick skin and keep going.
I mean, I've definitely put out some videos that I'm like, this is gonna kill, and you get 150 views. There's definitely a couple of those, but as a super roadblock, I mean, I haven't been in the music industry long enough to really put myself out there and get hurt yet, which is the goal. But
That's pretty cool. You're 20 years old. You're just really getting involved in the music at the level you want to be, and you've already had some of the greatest highlights, right? I mean, that's a cool thing, and good for you.
I don't know how we could go up. I'm waiting for the hill to go. It's gonna be a slow.
Listen, when you get to
downhill.
the top, just stay on top. Just keep
I'm gonna
riding.
try.
That's all.
I'm gonna try.
That's really cool.
And at 20 years old, I mean, to, share the stage with some of these biggest names in the world is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Again, those are moments you wake up and go, what the hell was that?
And as a young kid, it's kind of funny because you'll go on stage and play with Cheap Trick, and then I'll go to some of my friends and be like, "Look at this," and they'll go, "What the hell is that?
Yeah. Who are those old guys?
Who are those old guys?" And you're hanging out with some of these legends, like Glenn Hughes at Deep Purple in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Denny Lane, God rest his soul, he just passed away, but me and him were jamming Band on the Run. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Now, you brought up something. Have you been out to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I have not. I would love to, but I have
Ohio,
not.
right?
Ohio, I believe it's in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's the only reason you need to go to Ohio. No offense to those people, but it's the
Good
only
point.
reason you need to go there.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
Well, actually, I got to say, I've been to Cincinnati. There are some pretty cool parts of Cincinnati up on the hill that overlooks the city. It's a nice little spot. Down across the river, there's a nice little spot in Newport, Kentucky.
Okay.
Right part of Cincinnati. Good spot. You're right, though. There's not much more in
I
Ohio.
hate to crap on them, but come on.
Do you write any music? Do you do any lyrics or?
Not really. I'll write some drum parts while I'm sitting down in the basement. I get so many on my phone that I'll just if I'll sit down and go, that's kind of cool, and record it that way, but not anything like that. I would love to start getting into a band and writing stuff, but nowadays trying to find kids my age that are really hungry in the metal scene, I think it's kind of tough. I mean, I don't know if I'm not looking hard enough, but I personally think it's tough.
So how do you write the the different drum parts? Like, do you just sit there and kind of play around and say that sounded cool, or do you have an idea in your head and then try to play it?
No, I just sit down and play, honestly. I know with my guys, when we're doing covers and we're doing that, each guy will usually get a song that, like, this is what I want to play, and there's always, whenever we start one song, somebody will crack their neck and be like, oh Jesus Christ, not this friggin' song again. But it's kind of a mixture, and we all send in about 10, 15 songs, boil it down, see what we want to play, see what we already know, and go from there.
Dad's given you some advice about the music industry.
Stay away.
Stay away.
Stay away.
Stay as far away as possible.
Because it's so hard.
Heartbreaking.
And he's got your best interests. He's,
Exactly.
You know,
He is looking out for me. So
he's got Papa Bear thing going on.
Exactly.
But I'm sure, being around all these other musicians that have been around the world numerous times, you know, they must have given you some advice. Who has given you the best advice, and what was it?
I think I'm gonna
Steel Panther.
I'm gonna name drop.
It
again,
was Steel Panther, and they said, chase every girl you can. Oh, no.
We'll have that conversation later. But Brad Whitford of Aerosmith.
Okay.
I was talking to him, and I was debating on whether I wanted to go to college for music or kind of stick to the automotive. And he said, you don't need 4 years of music theory and of just sitting there learning whatever. If the music's inside of you, it's inside of you. You're gonna have it the rest of your life. Go get the business degree, because nowadays it's not like 1980 where you can rock up in Hollywood and get a gig. Now you need to know the finances, how you're doing on social media. There's so many other aspects that you really need to know the business a lot more than the actual music itself. So that was great advice.
Now that's really good advice. That is good. And it, we've had some people on that have given advice, as they think about all the things they've gone through, and a lot of them now come back to know the business, know the legalities, know your contract, and know the other aspects of it, as you just said, the social media, the marketing end of it. There's a lot that you have to put into it.
Because a lot of these people get sucked into these contracts, and Slipknot is a great example. When they signed with Roadrunner, they had a 5-album deal, and with the first 2 blowing up like they did, you're stuck in that deal. Yeah. You'd like to be like, oh, 5 albums, holy shit, and you do love what you do, and you want to be famous, but you really don't think it's actually gonna happen. The 0.01% that make it. But when you get to a height like that and you're stuck in those deals, you're glad you're there, but you're kicking yourself in the leg a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a double-edged sword. Do you, deep in your soul, do you really want to be at the top of the game?
Because if somebody came to me with a 5-album deal right now, I'd sign that thing so goddamn fast.
Because you've talked to these guys, and it's not really what it's cut out to be. It's a lot of hard work. You got to be the special kind of person to be able to leave your family, leave your kids.
Yep.
Be away for sometimes 2-3 months on end.
And it's the 0.01% that can make money, that can tour, and that can live off of it. So if you're even touring, I don't care if you're making 30 grand a year. If you're making money and you're living off of that and you're making music, congratulations, you win. You're the top 1%.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah, it is an extremely hard.
But as you have said, and many people have said before, it's really about the love of music. It's really, if it's in you, you're going to do it, whether you're making money at it or not. The bonus is making money, right? The beauty is making the music.
Exactly. Nuno, I read in an interview, he said, never try to play music for money. The money will come later, and it might come a lot later than you even expect. But just play the music. And if you really love it and you appreciate it, the money will come.
If you can survive in that gap between loving and earning,
you win.
You win.
You win. I don't care if you're making 3 cents. If you're making money playing music, you win.
Favorite and least favorite part about being a musician?
Favorite part is to get to do what I love, plain and simple. I mean, to do what I do and be that happy about it all the time is amazing. And the reality of it is it's the hardest industry you could possibly. Everybody wants to be a musician, or everybody wants to play TD Garden. They want to be the big star. So to actually get there, chase your dreams, but forget about it.
Right.
So we're sitting here talking with Alex Boch from Generation 3 Band, and he has a lot to do with Music Drives Us. So go to musicdrivesus.org, check them out, and contribute to their fund, which they help every school in New England. If they need help with musical instruments, lessons, whatever, anything they need.
Anything to keep the music in the schools, we will be there.
Alex, I'm running a little tiny school out of my attic. I could use some help doing it over.
Just a couple bucks?
Just a couple.
I'll throw you a 20 on the way out.
So where can we find you next? Where are you going to be on stage? Where can people come see you?
If you come to the next Steel Panther gig, you'll probably see me there. But besides that, we will have another drive-in or esque show this summer for Music Drives Us, whatever it is. And just Generation 3 band on Instagram. You'll see us out there. Hopefully we'll get a couple shows in the Boch this summer. And
Boston Calling this year.
Yep.
Will we be able to see you on stage?
Yes.
Is there a chance you'll be up there?
I mean, if I'm streaking, yeah, you might see me run on stage. But besides that, I don't think you're gonna catch me. I would love to play, but
God.
Let's make that happen.
don't tempt me with a good time.
All right. So, Alex, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me.
Again, we want to thank John from the Boston
Bostonian,
Bostonian Photography, yes, and Windcam Studios, and
everybody involved in making Musicians and Beyond happen.
Thank you guys for having me. Usually everybody wants to talk to my father. They don't really give a shit about me.
No,
so I appreciate you guys
pretty impressed
giving
with
me
you.
the time of day.
We're pretty impressed with you, and we're happy we had you here.
this was about you, and we want all of your listeners and viewers to go on to their social media and follow us at Musicians and Beyond, and we want all our Musicians and Beyond listeners and followers to go on and follow Alex Boch and his band and all the things that he's raising money for and helping out the youth of America.
Get over to his Instagram page. Give Alex a follow at
Alex_Boch 13. If you need a drummer, you need some sort of anything, please give me a call.
Yes, bands out there right now, everyone listening, anyone listening, if you're looking for a heavy metal drummer, make sure you reach out to Alex Boch through his Instagram. You can call us at, reach out to us at musiciansbeyond@gmail.com. We would love to put you in touch with them.
If you want to be on stage and see a skinny little, blonde kid behind you, I'm your guy.
He's the skinny blonde guy. Well, that skinny blonde guy is become a good friend of ours, Mark.
Great personality, great musician, looking for a long-term contract, out there playing music, but what he's got right now is a long-term contract here with Musicians and Beyond as a new friend with us.
Goddamn
We like
right.
to think everyone comes in as an acquaintance and leaves as a friend. So
I love it.
Yeah.
thank you for being our friend.
Thank you for having
Alex,
me.
thanks for coming in and talking with us today. We appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.